Hello, this is Jason, and last week I asked for questions about the Sorcery of Hecate course, and I got a lot in. So I don't know if they're all going to get answered in these short videos, but let's give it a go. So, the first question, and sort of one of the most important questions, is what is the goal of the Sorcery of Hecate? Spiritually speaking, a lot of paths like Buddhism and Christianity and so on have very well defined goals. Like, this is the end result, this is your final stage of enlightenment, salvation, illumination, mystical, whatever. So, Sorcery of Hecate does not have a final goal. The goal of the Sorcery of Hecate is to go beyond. Very simply, take the next step beyond wherever you are right now and to keep going. So the destination is ill-defined on purpose. It is not about the next, it is not about the final destination. It is not something that some enlightened being has articulated and then people get to argue about, right? Like, well, what is enlightenment? What is emptiness? What is its nature? And then all these people who have no direct experience of it get to argue about it for centuries. This is not that kind of a thing. This is specifically about the next step, not the final destination. So, what is the next step? What is the next step towards going beyond who you are, what you are right now? That's what this course is about. As for the end result, when put towards Hecate, the message I got was, I am not finished, so neither are you. The idea being that Hecate is a goddess who has evolved tremendously over time, and I believe is still on a journey now, way, way, way far ahead of us, but still in all, ever going beyond, as her name implies. And so this is the spiritual goal of the Sorcery of Hecate course. There is, of course, also the sorceress goal, being able to do stuff and affect change, affect probability, these kinds of things. And this is done by making internal changes in us through the ritual, through the communing with Hecate, and placing ourselves within Hecate's divine machinery. So this is not a dial a deity, please, please, please do this, and then whether it happens or not, it is judged as being she liked it or not, or I didn't leave enough offerings or not, or something like that. This isn't like that. It is you being placed in the machinery of her divine outreach, which makes internal changes that you are then able to reflect outward. So you are literally able to take this and direct it. And your success in sorcery really depends upon you and your application, rather than the idea that Hecate wants or doesn't want something for you. The other big question I got is about commitment. And so obviously I've talked about commitment. I'm going to talk time periods in another video. But I want to just touch very lightly on what commitment is in magic and in everything versus interest. When you're interested in magic, when you're interested in playing guitar, when you're interested in exercise or martial arts, it's something you do when you have time. It's something you do when you feel motivated. It's something you do when there is not something else that's going to give you a more immediate pleasure payoff. In other words, a TV show, dinner with friends, whatever it is. It's those are interests, right? You do those during those times. A commitment is something that you schedule, that you it is one of those posts in life that everything else revolves around. So the time is not an issue. A commitment is something that you remember to do, even if you don't feel like it in the moment. You remember that you'll be glad that you did it in the end. So commitment, you may not have the, oh, I'm so jazzed to do this right now. Usually get that on the back end, that, oh, I'm so glad I did that and I kept my commitment and I built a stronger connection. I improved my sorcery. I feel different coming out than I did going in. And then the last thing about commitment is that easier things that bring an immediate payoff, don't give the fulfillment or achievement that comes from keeping commitments. So never mind this course. Every time in my life that I made real strides in my practice, magical or otherwise, it has been through keeping commitments. It has been through putting a commitment down on paper or on the internet or on a whiteboard or wherever it is, and saying, this is what I'm going to do, this is when I'm going to do it, and I'm going to keep at it. Knowing in my head what to do, having a body of knowledge that I can weave things out of in the moment is cool. It's very good, and I like that too. But every strong stride that I have made in life, and I think most people will agree with this, it doesn't come from knowing what to do in your head. It comes from having a plan that you execute. And so this is a plan that you execute, that there is no fuzzy, what do I do? How do I construct this part? All right. So that is about the goal and the commitment in Sorcery of Hecate.